Hello, hello, welcome everyone to another episode, what I like to call a professional podcast. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Today we have a really amazing guest, one of the best runner I have ever watched. One of the first actually that when I started doing Hitless, when I discovered what Hitless is. So I'm really happy that having him as a guest today. Our guest, known as the guy who uses a lot of the broken straight sword in DS1 and also other of the Souls games. We have the one and only Mr. CBD with us, and I'm really looking forward to this. I think that it's probably one of the most interesting interview that we're going to have. Like I say, if any of you guys have a question for him, related to anything, it can be to his channel, to him, to the hitless, to the run that he has done. Don't don't be scared to us, and we will talk about it. All right, Mr. CVD, welcome once again.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming here. I
Yeah,
appreciate it a
thanks for
lot.
having me.
All right, the first thing I'm seeing in that this
Mhm.
run is done on console.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I used to be a PlayStation 4 guy. This run was also I was streaming from a laptop,
Oh
a
God,
MacBook Pro. Yeah. hmm
it was from a laptop, also playing on. Oh my God, it just does so much. We started really good actually. We started really good. All right, so the first thing that I would like to ask, what's the biggest difference of running on console and running on PC?
well, I mean, the biggest difference is you can easily just like make save states.
Oh,
That's the biggest one, right? Like, and
oh
you can
yeah.
practice things whenever you want. You don't have to have you don't have to go out of your way to like make scenarios where you're practicing. So like how people would practice on console back in the day would be they would just make a whole bunch of characters and then like be in a boss
Ooh.
fight or something, and then before they would kill the boss, but before the you or the boss felled text comes up, they would just quit out, right? And then you could just keep on doing that over and over again. But yeah, being on PC is a whole lot
It's a total different for
smoother.
sure.
Yeah, the practicing aspect of it is way better, especially with like you can mod in stuff where you can use Sheet Engine or Gadget in Dark Souls One. It's so much smoother.
Yeah, it's just that I'm guessing that all the Bloodborne runners know that feeling of
Yeah,
the painful of running on PS4 specifically.
yeah, pretty much.
The one thing that I will never get used to it is just the controller. For me, the PlayStation 4 controller is so uncomfy for some reason.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't really have too much of an issue with PlayStation 4. I mean, I grew up with a PlayStation 2, but I spent a lot of time on like an Xbox controller as well with Xbox 360. But I mean, with I don't know. I never really had too much of an issue. I use the PlayStation 5 controller now, but
I have heard a lot
yeah,
of people say that it's really good actually.
I like it a lot. Although the analog sticks get kind of
Oh,
broken faster, I think, in my experience. So
yes, it's just so you can buy more clueless.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're supposed to have a warranty, but I just kind of found that out recently. So I've
Oh
just been. I
God.
think I bought like maybe four of them or something.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Well,
I have two that I haven't used in a while. Just right here. It's awesome.
well, you can vouch for them at least that they are good. So if you want to get hitless run, you need to use the dual sense. That's the
True.
magic. All right, talk us a bit about this run because your brand for a long time since I
hmm
discovered you was the broken sword. You were the, oh, this guy finished all the game hitless with a broken sword.
Yeah. I think well, that was kind of my thing. Because I guess when I first started out in trying to do a no hit run, I wanted to do a run that like well, no one. Well, I wanted to do something no one had done before, but I also wanted someone to like, if they heard that I did it, that they would think it was just fake, just from the title
Oh,
alone, right? And then so Yeah, as you can see with with the with this run, this is a I believe a 5 minute asylum demon or something
Around
like that.
that.
Uh,
We
was it
can check
5 minutes
actually.
or was it
Yeah,
10? It might be 10 actually.
yes, it's
Um,
around 10 minutes only. Yeah.
yeah. So every reset, 10 minute asylum demon with the short sword
Oh,
hilt.
that's a painful
That was
reason.
rough. Yeah. I guess what I said before, my first run was this run, but it was any percent. So this is the all bosses version. But yeah, you'd imagine with I think this run was like 5.5 hours or something. So
Yeah, something
yeah,
around like
imagine
5 hours.
imagine getting to Gwyn and then getting it to go back
Oh,
to a 10 minute asylum demon. That would have been pretty
it will
bad.
be painful. And in this run,
Mhm.
it happens something like that you reach a really in deep boss and you had to reset.
I think the farthest I got before I got the run, it wasn't that far. I think it was it had to be like somewhere in the DLC
Oof.
or but like I did the DLC fairly early, I think, with my splits. Yeah, like the DLC was kind of in the middle of the run. So
Yeah.
it might have been like Artorias or something
Ooh.
was the distance PB. But I remember I changed it because it was originally at the end of the run, but then I
Okay.
changed it to like be in the middle because it was a heavy reset point for this run just because of Calamite. Calamite's the hardest run or hardest boss on this run.
Oof. Calamite seems to be a really hard boss in general, even on normal runs, like all bosses with the Crystal
Hmm.
Halberd, I think is you normally use on the meta run. Either
Yeah.
the Crystal Halberd or the Giant Blacksmith Hammer, I think. Is
Yeah.
It's a really difficult boss. But I feel that it's a really good fight, at least on casually though.
Yeah. A lot of people casually really like Calamite. I really hate him
Oh,
because he's his hitboxes suck. His arena sucks. Everything about him is just kind of meh.
we
And
were
that's why I
talking
wanted to run
a bit about it that I wonder if there is at least one boss that you can say, okay, this boss has a really good arena. And I think that the only boss that came to my mind was Radagon on Elden Ring.
Yeah, I mean, there's Radagon. I guess there's also excuse me. I think there's
No.
also Placidusix as well.
Oh yeah, it's a really
That's a
good.
really good one.
Yeah, it's a really good arena. It doesn't have pillars, so it's just big. That's good. So you can strafe a lot. You can walk a lot. So there's no problem with that. Yeah, I agreed with that. That Placid was actually really good.
Hmm.
I'm guessing that also Fiat Cham has also a really good arena. I guess because it
Yeah,
doesn't.
and then by extension, I guess Fortisax as well, right?
Yeah,
Same arena.
yeah. But then, for example, I'm currently running Bloodborne, and then I reach BSB and then the big pillars. And then
Yeah,
it's horrible. It's so
yeah,
horrible. But then you have like for example in Sekiro, you have like I feel that there's like only two bosses in Sekiro that it doesn't even have a problematic arena.
yeah. Maybe like Sword Saint Ishin or something. That's a pretty
Oh,
big. Oh, there's a huge rock in their way.
yeah, there's like
Maybe not.
it's in some elevation memes that sometimes
Yeah.
Ishin can just he attacks and because of the elevation he doesn't hit you and he does another attack because of that.
Mm,
It's one of those things
hmm.
that you need to take. You just need to know about that. Like Ishin has so much memes. It's horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well,
Uh,
we're going to put the run on hold for a while. So let's talk a bit
mhm.
about how do you start on Hitless? How because I think that you were one of the first between the Dino, Gino, Sweat, Hop. One of the first one, if I'm know, or as far as I know.
Yeah. I think I forget which like what number I was to join the team because when I got the run and when I like officially got added to the website was it was like a 6 month difference. So I think I would have been like I don't know like number 40 or
Ooh.
something or something like that or maybe even lower than that. I'm not sure, but yeah. This so the my first ever run I I started it back in 2018.
Ooh.
Um and it was straight sword hilt, any percent, no hit. I had never even done like a regular any percent or meta run at that
You
point,
just went
and
with the hard one, with the hardest ever.
yeah, I would say like when I eventually got it, because that run took 11 months.
Oh
Yeah,
God, almost a
yeah, well,
year.
yeah, it was well, and like I wasn't streaming as much as I was now because I was in college, and then
Oh yeah,
so I was also a student, but yeah, I think I started it. I got it in Jul- July or June of 2019, and then I or that's when I got it, and then I started it, so 11 months before that, so yeah, around like July, June-ish of 2018. Yeah, and that was like the only thing I was doing on my stream was just this,
just the
what we're saying now.
broken
A
girl.
lot
Oh
of,
God.
yeah, a lot of 10-minute asylum demons.
At least it will
Yeah.
everything for the content, you know. Like people sometimes say, "Oh, we don't see enough Asylum Demon. You just kill it with black fire bombs." Well, you're going to watch 10 minutes of just strafing and looking at the ass of Asylum Demon.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh, my.
Absolutely.
And and for the people that have seen this run already, we are just remembering how those 10 minutes were. Because I guess that with all the gigantic HP bar that we have nowadays on Elden Ring, we it doesn't
Hmm.
remind you a lot about this, like this long fight in Dark Souls One.
Oh, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I guess it gives kind of fire giant vibes on your first playthrough. You're just whittling away at his leg or his hands, and like he just has a huge health bar. Same thing
They
with Millennia, I guess.
Yeah, the only good the thing about the good thing about Malene is that she easily stagger for sure. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and you can parry here and stuff like that. But then there's waterfowl, and that's the big one.
Oh God, you have to say it's a beautiful attack though. When you finally manage to dodge it just
Hmm.
clicks. It just click, and you want to do it each try that you have.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve when it comes to waterfowl, and I think it's a whole lot easier than people might think it is. I've seen a
Yeah,
lot of people, I've seen a lot of people like kind of do either challenge runs or playthroughs, and they get to Millennia, and then they just watch her go up in the waterfowl stance when they're right in front of her, and then they just give up. And it's like I think this is kind of an extension of what I think about Hitless too. Is like I think people see these crazy runs or people see like crazy kills of Millennia or something, and then they think to themselves that they can't do that. Well, it's like, yeah, of course you can't right now, but like you didn't try, right? Like no one hops on Hitless, the first time, and then they just get the run first try. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
sure. Nobody does that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people might feel embarrassed that they don't know like what they're doing or something, but it's like, yeah, everyone started somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like nobody has been born like knowing how to do this. You know, it's just practice and practice and practice. After all,
Yeah,
it just is.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, talk about the run that you have done because you have been in the community for a long time already, like more than 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. It would be about I guess going on 6 years,
Yeah, around
I would
that.
say. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It's been a
uh,
long time for sure. Like that,
yeah.
for example, me, I have been only for like 3 years. Like it doesn't feel like 3 years, and even like that, I still discovered so many people with such crazy runs in general.
Yeah, there's a lot of corners of the community, and it's interesting whenever you come across someone who you haven't really like heard of before or you haven't really interacted with before. But I think that's also pretty good because it goes to show how accessible Hitless is to a
Oh,
lot of
true.
people,
Yeah,
right?
everyone can
There's
do a hitless run, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I say that to everybody. Especially Elden Ring. That game is piss easy for Hitless, in my opinion. But I think like people who who come into community, they have so many resources because there's so many guides, there's so many people within the community or in the Team Atlas Discord that you can always ask of like pretty much anything, and people have seen like almost everything
Oh
in
yeah.
these games to help you out, right? people have routed a whole lot of things, which is I guess good and bad. Just because it's good because you always have some, I don't
Someone
know,
to
kind of,
guide you.
yeah. And then like if you want to do something new, then you really have to think very hard
You have to
about
be
what you
like
want to do.
when you think about like trying to grind for a world first run, you need to think,
Hmm.
wait, have anyone actually done this? Because there's such crazy runners. I think that the only thing that probably hasn't been done because it's probably just pain, is probably, I don't know, Elden Ring only fist, because it's like a 5 hours kill on Fire Giant, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot, and that'll probably never happen either, right? Just because getting
Nobody
Nocturne
has
is
that
just
much time.
well, I
Ma-
mean, like some bosses, it's just humanly impossible,
yeah.
like getting an off nair. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's just never gonna happen unless you include like consumables. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure there's a rule in Elden Ring Hitless where you can't use like certain damaging consumables on a weapon only no hit run.
Well, I think
So
it was recently changed though. It got
oh,
changed
was it?
twice. Yeah, once it got
Oh,
changed
interesting.
because when Elden Ring came out, they saw like all the consumables are really strong. We have to make a
Hmm.
rule for it, and they were banned. Like if you're doing a weapon only, you couldn't done damage like with kukris or with throwing knife,
Hmm.
but you could use consumable like the sleeping pots or the rotten ones. Like you cannot do directly damage with a consumable. But then recently, like 2 months ago, it got changed again, and now you could do damage as long as you don't abuse them. I think. Like for example, if you kill Gideon
Interesting. Hmm.
with rotten pots, it's legal.
Hmm.
But it's not like you're going to do only consumables and then kill one enemy with one weapon and oh, it's only Chigatana, for example. No, the
Uh-huh.
verifier is going to reject that run.
That's very interesting because I remember when there was the rule initially to allow consumables on weapon only runs, and I was thinking, I don't know if this is a good idea because if you because there were people going for consumables only Dark Souls 2 at the time,
Yeah,
and it was shown to be very possible to do that, and I was thinking, I don't know because like if someone does the consumables only Dark Souls 2 and then like punches someone with their fist and then you can call that a fist only Dark Souls 2 no hit run, right?
yeah,
Um
exactly.
and so it's interesting that there's like only for Elden Ring that that was kind of put into place. I don't know, I kind of saw that earlier on in the community, and then I guess not many people wanted to uh
To think
have like
about
a
it.
hard, yeah, yeah, that's kind of a theme in my opinion with my experience in Team Hitless. It's like it's a whole lot about like, oh, we'll think about it later or we'll worry
Yeah,
about it later, and it's like I'm the type of guy where it's like I know people are going to abuse something, and I know there's
we
going to
need
be
to think
confusion,
about
and
it now.
yeah, yeah, that's why I kind of brought up a whole lot of like different um
Situations, yeah.
yeah, that could be problematic for determining things for no hit runs,
Yeah,
and a lot of
makes
people probably hate
sense,
me
you
for that.
know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, in my opinion, it does. But I think a lot of people may not have always appreciated me bringing up like specific cases where we might need actual rules, and then I don't know, like a lot of just like kicking the can down the road, like we'll think about later, right? So.
Yeah, I feel that that's also the job that people as verifier has, you know. For example,
Mm-hmm.
like is your role as a verifier is knowing when you reject a run or they're abusing something, you know? Like if you see
Mm-hmm.
someone, at least if I was a verifier and I see someone just kill one boss with the weapon and then oh I'm going to use
Mm-hmm.
cookery for all the enemies. No, hey dude. I'm going to accept your run as a any percent or as a
Mm-hmm.
consumable only, but no as a weapon only. It's not because you abused it, all of that, you know?
Yeah, and that's definitely fine if like the rules call for that, and then like, but then like in my head I'm like, okay, then like one verifier might say one thing and the other verifier might say another thing, and then like you have two different runs that are similar, and then like one got accepted, one didn't. Right, all these things in my head, I'm like, oh, like it overloads my head. I'm like, we
Yeah,
need
and
like
it's
a
understandable to be
guaranteed law.
honest. I feel that
Yeah.
one of the reasons why, like you know, if there's a lot of verifier, just discuss them between them in those situations. Like,
Yeah.
okay, there's some rules. but there is a loophole between them that someone discovered. Okay, let's
Mhm.
talk about it. Okay, more than 50% of the verifiers of that game say that it's okay. Okay, it's okay. It's majority vote. That's what, at least in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
understanding, is the way that it should be, at least.
yeah, and then if that is a system, that sounds like an okay system to me, right? But yeah, I'm always gonna be like, no, there has to be like a specific rule. Then you always go back to the rule, and just
Yeah,
like
exactly.
leave no area for people to
To get a
have
loophole.
bias,
Yeah, I
loophole
understand.
or bias or anything
Like
like
it
that.
should
Yeah,
be. There is some people that is going to say things like, no, but that for example, a lot of things that happens like, oh, but Team Hitless is being such elitist with the rules. No,
Mhm.
we're being specific because this situation has happened before. That's the thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why it's better to be really specific with the rules, and if people want to follow them, you follow them. If not, at the end, Hitless is just uh like a speedrun is just a self-imposed challenge. Like
Mhm.
if you want to follow a rule, or if you don't want, it's up to you. Like that, there's a lot of people that even run games that are not even in Team Hitler, for example.
Yeah, and I guess with those people who run games that aren't within Team Hitless, then I mean, there's always a chance that they will eventually, right, be able to be on Team Hitless as well. But I also think that yeah, like getting on the website or being verified, like it, it it definitely isn't like the goal that many people should look for, because like I haven't submitted any of my know it runs to Team Hitless since like one of my last Dark Souls 1 runs, and since then I've done DS2, DS3, and Elden Ring. And I just in my head I'm just like, like I know the verifiers have to kind of have a lot on their plate, so I'm not really gonna like submit them because I feel bad. Also, I guess like people know who I am, so I don't really need many other
Verification.
yeah like
Like for example, I
or
don't think that people like Hop or Dino runs get verified. A lot of them that, yeah, they're not going to cheat.
Yeah, or like even because some people might want to be on the website for notoriety or for people to know who they are, and then
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I don't necessarily need that because I mean, again, people kind of know who I am, and it's not really an ego thing. It's just like I'd want to I want verifiers to put their attention to
and other people.
people who
Yeah,
want to get on the team. Yeah,
yeah. It's a really good way to see it, to be honest, because people
yeah,
already know who you are, and you don't want to waste the verifier time. Also,
yeah.
it's a really good way to see it, to be honest. All right. Talking about the run that you have done, well, like you said, you are the broken straight sword guy, but
Yeah, pretty much.
you have done it on Dark Souls 1 and on Dark Souls 3. Did you do it on some of the other games?
On Dark Souls 2.
Oh god.
Yeah, I have an any percent no hit run Broken Tracer Dark Souls 2.
Which one did you think was the most complicated one, though?
The most complicated. The most probably Dark Souls 2,
Ooh.
because because in DS2 people abuse the bow quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot. Amana, for
Yeah,
example.
so yeah, like Amana is a huge spot where you'd have to abuse the bow, and with me with the runs that I did, uh, I I I disallowed the bow. I only wanted to damage things with just the broken trace sword, except for half light.
Ah.
It's the only exception. Yeah. But everything else, I didn't use any damaging consumables. I didn't. I might have fallen on an enemy or something, but or like punched him or something. But like that's about it. So DS2 was pretty whack, just because like there weren't a lot of resources to see like how other people would deal with certain situations in DS2.
Oh yeah.
Um, and like figuring out a mana was one of the more technical things I had to do. And even like if anyone goes um on my YouTube channel and look at the DS2 Broken Tracer run. I think I'm in the throne room, meaning I'm in uh Throne Duo and Nishandra. I'm in that room for I think 28 minutes
Oh God.
because I messed up, and I think Throne Watcher and Throne Defender, they revived each other. I think like 4 times or something. It was
Oof.
really bad. So
Oh
yeah,
God.
so I had to play it safe, and it was funny. But yeah,
And that fight on melee is not a joke for sure. It's really
yeah,
complicated.
yeah. It's pretty hard. But like if you're patient enough, it's fine. Um, but like I guess having not having a lot of range kind of sucks as well. Is the only thing.
Yeah, it's kind of painful that the game puts you a duo fight at the end of the run. You know, that's kind of painful. Well, it put you also the duo Dragon Rider, but well, that is not as painful as Tron duo for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is. And well, even like the duo dragon riders, like that's another one where you don't see people go into that fight without a bow,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So then there's more strats you have to kind of come up with or scout because, well, like how do people do it without a bow consistently, right? It's pretty that run was fairly tactical. It was very difficult in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And back then there wasn't really a lot of resources. Like a lot of people right now is doing YOLO Amana that just run straight to Amana without looking and just dodging the spells.
Yeah, I guess it's consistent if you
If you know
hit
how
the
to
same
do
way
it.
all the time. Yeah, it's very scary, but
I know that Dolos, for example, he likes to do a lot of YOLO Amana even on level run. And I tell him a lot, you're crazy. And it's just that you reach a level of consistency in those risky and speed strat that is just such eye candy to do, you know?
yeah, and I guess once you learn it once, you kind of you're you're set to keep on doing it over and
No,
over
yeah.
again. You're only gonna get better at it, so it makes sense.
Yeah, at least when I learn a speedy way to do something, I cannot do it the normal way. Like my body just cannot do like I need to do it the slow way. Like my body just shivers and no the time loss.
Yeah, and then sometimes just the faster way is the more uh
So,
is the safer way anyways as well.
yeah, that's true.
I think some runners do get lulled into a false sense of security whenever it comes to like taking their time or a huge thing that happens is runners they figure something out for like I don't know the first 10 times they might go through a run and get their PB down, and then they might stick to the same strat that they came up with, but then they never really like to change it because in their head they're like, oh, I'm so close to the run, I don't want to mess up by changing my strat.
Yeah,
But then
exactly.
you keep on thinking that throughout your entire like hitless career until you're like, okay, wait a minute, maybe I have to change something just to make this all safer because um I guess there's kind of two types of people who come into this space. There's one, or there are people who kind of get the run passively by just doing runs over and over and over again, and then there's people who practice a ton each individual section uh, until they get it down, and then they start doing runs, right, and then they do it all very efficiently, and they always try to get better, you know.
Yeah, we're just not going to we're not going to name people banjo, but truly there's
Hmm.
people that just focus on one certain section. And I
Mm.
feel that you have to have such commitment for that. That is crazy, to be honest. Like just practicing one boss for such a long time is crazy. Like I feel that when I was doing Sekiro Immortal Severance, I spent 6 hours on Ishins non-stop. six
Yeah.
hours. It was horrible. And then even with that 6 hours, Ishin did on the first time I reached him an RNG that only happened once in 5,000 runs.
That's pretty funny. Yeah,
It's
you
truly
always learn more
painful.
stuff about this game.
Yeah, I feel that it's just when you're on pace or on really low PV things, you start watching those meme hits, that it just super rare RNG or a glitch or something. For example, when I was running Dark Souls 1, I got one of my PV1 was to the ghost hitbox from Smog.
Yeah, I feel like that's a rite of passage to really respect that that move or the glitch, I guess.
Yeah, it's
A
just
lot of people get hit by that.
it's such a stupid. Like Dark Souls 1, I understand why some people love it, but I understand why a lot of people hate it too. It, it,
Oh
it, it,
yeah,
it's so clunky.
yeah. I'm of the opinion that I like running a lot of these games. I do like Dark Souls 1 the most. However, whenever it comes to like the flaws in these games, I'm the first person to call every one of them out. Like it like something that I don't like is when people hate on a game for an absurd reason. Right? Because like for me I love Dark Souls 1, and then I hear people complain about something that isn't even true. I'm like, okay, I like this game more than you, and I can criticize it better than you can. Like that's an issue. Like you really have to know why,
Like,
you
if
don't
the
like
reason you're
something.
going to criticize something, at least be valid.
Yes, exactly.
Like, for example, I hate Sekiro. And I have two no-hit runs. I can hate
Yeah.
Sekiro with all my heart, and because actually learned the game. Learned the game, And I
Mhm.
feel my reasons to hate Sekiro are beyond just it's a skill issue. The game has a lot of flaws and weird things. Like the way that, for example, I love Hades, but I
Mhm.
understand a lot of mistakes that Supergiant has done on Hades 1 and Hades 2 that is still in development. But I feel
Mhm.
that there's two type of people. The people that either hates the game for whatever reason, just the game exists, I'm going to hate it, and the people that
Mhm.
just loves the game so much that there's nothing wrong with this game.
Yeah, it's definitely a dangerous thing whenever people are like, oh, they like something so much that they can't really criticize it, which is yeah the other side of the coin, like you said. Like some people uh, hate something a lot that they're always going to criticize it, and some people love something so much that they're never going to criticize it. That's always not good.
It's not good. Like, just building your everything around that game without accepting that the game has flaws, because I don't think there is a perfect game, that you can name a game without any type of flaw. There's none. Every game has something
True.
bad at least. And I feel that it speaks more about you as as someone who run either speedrun or challenge in general, that you admit the game has flaw, that just no, there's nothing wrong on this game. I feel that that's at
Yeah,
least most understanding.
yeah, definitely people who put more time in these games will notice a whole lot more than someone who just did it casually or even just did one no hit run, because you don't have to put too many hours into the game to get a no hit run. Some people more than others, but like and no hit is definitely just one part of the game. And then I guess if you're always doing meta runs where you have like a whole bunch of damage, you're definitely not going to see a whole bunch of other uh, attacks or combinations of things that you would otherwise have to see if you're in the fight for longer.
Yeah. Is also, we're reaching a really interesting point of the run in the
Hmm.
broken hill.
Hmm.
Pinwheel. Pinwheel is known for being a meme in most run, but here I'm guessing that it's probably one of the most difficult ones.
It's one of the most volatile from what I remember. So you kind of have to gosh. So Pinwheel has a phase two. A lot of people, I guess, don't really uh, know or notice it. But he has a phase two, and with this run, I remember it was very particular because how Pinwheel acts is very is very interesting. I believe even like if you like kill both of the clones right away, then Pinwheel's going to summon two more clones. If you kill one clone, then he probably won't summon more clones, right? And then
Okay.
his phase two is like I don't know, like 30% of his HP or something, where he spawns 10 clones. So it's kind of it it is a tad bit RNG, but if for the most part, it was fairly consistent in my runs.
Ooh. It's just a lot of people. Yeah, it's just really easy to forget that Penguin does have a second phase. To be honest, because you usually just come 2 attacks and is it? You know?
Yeah, and then he's dead. Yeah, it's probably the most. It's probably the most dangerous second phase in the game. Yeah,
Yeah, like
unfortunately
without
for me.
joke when you don't have a lot of damage, it's truly become one of the most difficult ones for sure.
Yeah.
Now, talk a bit more about the run that you have done. What would you say that has been the most difficult one? This one, the run that we're watching, or other one?
Um. So oftentimes, whenever I think about this, it is kind of hard to like classify difficulty, just because like um I know Gino's kind of on the uh same like wavelength as me here. Like he says his first run ever was the most difficult one he's ever done. Um, and I think for the most part, I think I would probably agree. Maybe not my first one, but I think this one that we're watching, in terms of how difficult it was for me at the time, it's probably Tracer Hill bosses on DS1. In terms of just like I guess how much time it took for me to learn the game all the way up to attempting and getting the run. Um, I would say it would either be fist only all bosses no hit in Dark Souls 3,
Ooh,
or
that's a recent one, right?
yeah, it's a pretty recent one. And I also did the master run, Dark Souls 3 as well. Was
Ooh,
those two are pretty tough.
yeah, the Master Run. A lot of people have been running the Master Run lately. I think that Bender did it recently too.
Hmm.
I know that Sued was routing it, but hasn't continued it. And well,
Yeah.
but it's a really difficult run. Also, that I feel that the Master Run are really. It really occurs that the two games that people have been running Master Run is only Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring actually.
Yeah, definitely a reason for that. Because one, there's not too many people who are that experienced with Dark Souls 1 to want to try it on this game. I really wanted to do it, and there is actually someone who was attempting it for a bit. Um, but yeah, on this run it would be, or in this game it'd be pretty difficult. On DS2, it's almost like humanly impossible.
Yeah, so
Just
many
because of,
changes.
yeah, and just think of Ivory King, right?
Ugh.
The knights before him, that'd be like an hour fight or
Oh
something, maybe
god.
like half an hour or something. I don't know, but
Yeah,
yeah,
all the 3
it could be pretty
DLC. The
brutal.
3 DLC will be just pain, but with a
Yeah,
caps P, we all black and colorful, just pain. Because
yeah.
I feel it's just so crazy how the difficult between vanilla and then the DLC on Dark Souls 2. Like it's not like usually, for example, in Dark Souls 3, I feel like
Mhm.
the bosses are hard, of course, but the running sections are kind of simple, you know? They are not like the biggest thing you have to deal with. They are not like pontiff stairs without hidden body or something else. And on Dark Souls 1 also is the same. There's like hard bosses and simple running section, you know? It's not like you have
Mhm.
to do something crazy. But on Dark Souls 2, you have Pony Valley, you have you have everything, you have poison, you have any invisible enemies, you have these spikes on the floor, you have to shoot here, then you have an enemy shooting magic, then it just hard running section, hard enemies, hard puzzle, hard everything. You just look, and also we're talking about 42 bosses.
Yeah,
It's no, Dark Souls 2
yep,
is no joke for sure.
yeah. It definitely isn't, and I guess it's kind of shown how so little people have done all bosses no hit on DS2. Um, in the other games, the list is fairly long. The last time
Yeah,
I looked, but DS2, it's much smaller compared to the other games, except for Elden Ring. I'm pretty sure only like, has this only been two or three people who've done all bosses in Elden Ring no
I
hit?
think that Gino did it. He was the first one. Then it was
Yeah.
Banjo. Bender
Yeah.
did it twice, I
If I
think. No,
remember.
Banjo did it
Yeah.
twice. Banjo did it twice. He did it normally and then with incantations only.
Yeah.
Then Bender did it with magics, with sorcery.
Hmm.
Shilky did it range unlock, I think. And I think nobody else has been done all bosses so far, I think. Only 4 people.
Yeah. So that's lovely, right?
It's
That's
just
kind of Elden Ring definitely is
it's a
the
game.
DS2,
It's yes,
right?
two for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, when you think it's just that the biggest problem with Elden Ring old bosses, first of all, we have the DLC coming in some days, and for
Hmm.
example, Sweat say that he's not going to run all bosses until the DLC comes out, for example. But also that you have to run so much and you have to deal with all the dungeons because you at the end are one shotting the bosses, but the dungeons are so specific sometimes with enemies here, traps there, that it becomes such a pain.
Yeah, I guess, but I guess also with Elden Ring, you have so much more you have so much more like tools and
Not true.
techniques at your disposal as well. Just because I mean I don't know, once you kill Elden Beast and you have the Sacred Relic Sword, you just wave of gold everything in your
Yeah,
path.
that for
Uh,
sure.
so or even like I guess it's been nerfed, but the Falling Sword Beast Shard was like incredible. I don't know.
Oh,
You have Assassin's Gambit. There's so many things that you just can run with and work with. It's pretty. I feel like the all bosses run on that game is very just time consuming, and that's it.
yeah,
You know.
it's really time consuming in general. It's just that also I feel that one of the reasons why people don't run all bosses because I mean we talk about time in this, but people have run Lies of P, and Lies of P is long. It was really long back
Yeah.
then, and also
Mhm.
have people run. More like I mean, we're watching a 5 hour run of Dark Souls 1. It's probably kind
Mhm.
of the same. Like if you're talking about segmented in Elden Ring. But I feel that one of the issues is that there is not really a route established for all bosses Elden Ring. I feel that just thinking about it, if you want to run all bosses, you need to come out with your own route. That's the thing.
Yeah, I guess, and it's always gonna evolve more, just
Yeah, of
because Elden
course.
Ring is well, the all bosses category hasn't really had a lot of attention on it, so there's always more that you're gonna learn about it. Even when Gino got the Master Run and Dark Souls 3, uh, that Dark Souls 3 had been out for what, he got it back in 2021, so it'd been out for like at least 5 years.
Yeah.
So and then after he got it, then there were even more strats found for for certain things anyways, right? So
Yeah.
it's just
The game is keep
I think that's
evolving.
awesome. Yeah, I think it's awesome to still be in the infancy of of Elden Ring, where there's still the route is changing, and even like just there's a lot of room for like personality of someone, or like preferences that someone might have for the run, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's really nice to be. I really like when people start coming up with new strats or routes for these really old games. To be honest, it's really impressive. And even with Dark Souls 3, that is a game that even when it is old,
Hmm.
people still run it. It's one of the most run games. I think that with Sekiro, Team Hitless at least,
Hmm.
and you find some crazy strats or just new skips in general, like talking in the speedrun. Like this, I've been watching a lot of speedrun in Dark Souls 3, and they found this. I don't know if you saw it, like the ladder skip is such crazy strats and tests that people
Yeah,
can come with it, to be honest.
yeah, it's pretty nice. And on the speedrunning scene, it's not hitless, but it is nice to see people kind of return back to it and either find more appreciation for it or like have more competition for it. It's cool.
It really nice. Now,
Yeah.
talking a bit about the run that you have done, let's talk
Hmm.
about the sad part about these runs, taking the hits, right? So
Yeah.
so far with all this run that you have done, which is a hit that you took that you still remember to this day?
For this specific run or
No,
any
just in general, in general.
I remember a lot of hits. uh, I, I I remember. Hmm. I remember back when Carl Jobst was uh, kind of scouting the community for his no hit video. I was doing. I think I was doing Broken Tracer All Bosses no hit in DS3, and I I remember I was on Cinder. Cinder's my last boss, and I got hit to him. The only
Oof.
reason I remembered this one so clearly was because Carl Drops was actually in my chat, but I didn't know
Oh.
he was there. My chat was like, "Oh yeah, he was there yesterday." Like when I came back the next day to do runs again, I'm like, "Oh, awesome! Yeah, I got hit in front of Carl Jobs."
In front of the
So
man that you're trying to
yeah,
impress.
yeah, that was
Oh,
funny.
that's
But
that's a painful one for sure.
yeah. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of other hits, but that one's kind of a funny one that I got like really deep in the run, last boss, and yeah, just so happened to have someone who was a I don't know million sub YouTuber in my chat. So
Yeah, it's hard for sure. And now talking about also about that, what do you do to deal with the frustration, all of the like taking heat, getting stuck? What do you do?
well, I mean, whenever you get hit, it can be an emotional thing, and I think it's good to you can get upset, you can be sad, you can do whatever, but then like eventually you just forget about it. Um, and you get back the next day or you restart the run and then you just go again. Um, I had somebody in high school who I had as a friend who was a golfer, and he told me what Tiger Woods does if he ever you know messes up on a swing. He goes 1, 2, 3, forget, right, and then that I think that kind of mentality can really help people
Hmm.
because sometimes people worry that if they start hitless then they might give up or they might be too discouraged to keep on going or whatever or sometimes they get into it and then they take a bad hit and then they might stop but it's like in my point of view it's like you're not going to get the run by not doing the run so if you really want it you're just going to do it
Yeah,
if you don't
exactly.
want it that much then then that's okay right then Hitless probably isn't for you and you can probably find fun somewhere else right but I think if if you want the run you're going to get it right
Yeah,
so
that's for
do it
sure. Like as
yeah
long as you keep going and keep practicing, you're going to get it someday. You know, like it's going
yeah
to take more time that some people that other people for sure, or it's going to take less time. You know, like for example, when I started running, I took 2 3 days to get my first hitless run on Hades. You know, and
hmm
then when I moved to other games that it was like Souls games, it has been taking me, at least 1 month to get these runs.
hmm
It's just
yeah
that it's just that thing. I feel that when people getting hitless, I feel that if you're not going to put the time that this involves, like you need to truly practice and do all these things, I feel that you should not be doing hitless, because
yeah
you're going to
I
feel
agree
discouraged.
hmm
At least I think that if you truly, it's like watching someone trying to get around, but they never truly practice, for example. Like you don't see, not even like, I'm not talking like banjo level of practice, because I
yeah
think that's just insanity.
hmm
But also I feel that if you want to truly get around, you want to practice. And I have seen a lot of people that doesn't get around, that they don't practice at all, and they end up giving up. They end up, and there is nothing wrong with that. Like there's Hitless is not for them, but I feel that if you truly want to the run, you will be practicing.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And I think that's kind of also a newer way of thinking about it. Maybe not like really new, but like how people would try to get hitless runs in the past would just be like they would just do the runs and that's it. There was really no like, oh, let me really refine this part of the run. Let me really practice this part of the run or whatever. Like people would maybe do it while they're running and test things out, but it would never be very extensive. Um, it it wasn't until we started seeing more and more technical runs where people were like, okay, yeah, maybe we should, you know,
Practice this.
like yeah, practice this until you get it right, so you don't get hit during the actual run, right? So
Yeah, makes sense. I feel that one of the people that I look up most in terms of hitless mentality, Blasty, he has a really good
mhm.
way of seeing this. That when you get hit, it just you need to see the hit that you took, come back, see why did you take it, fix it, and
Mhm.
never do it again. That, and that's with all the mistakes what people someone does in Hitler. Like you need to see what do you do. Like is something that you can is something that you can control. Okay, find a way to fix it. Is something that is just RNG. Okay, just get lucky, I guess. But if it's something that you can control, you need to practice and fix it.
Yeah, I agree. And with the RNG and getting lucky thing, I think the more people the more time people put into these games, the more they realize that there isn't much luck that comes with it. At least with hitless, there might be luck when it comes like going fast or something,
No,
but
yeah,
when it comes to hitless, like if there is something that you actually can't control, then like more than likely you have to avoid it somehow. And that's kind of just how it is. Unless I don't know, you're doing the master run, and you're trying to fight valiant gargoyles or something, then yeah, it's kind of lucky. But uh, yeah, very few things I think are not in people's hands whenever it comes to these runs.
yeah. I feel that at least 95 of the cases is a skill thing, that you need to find
Hmm.
a way to deal with that. And 5% of the cases is just, okay, maybe the boss did a really weird patterns of attack that it has really weird times to do it and you didn't know about it, for example. I feel okay, that's our RNG, unlucky, but now you know that he can do it. Find a way how to do it, deal with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel that it's just at least 90-45 of the cases is really just a skill, like just raw skill. Now,
yeah, I'd agree.
talking about
Mhm.
raw skill, what would you think is the game in Team Hitless, or mostly just the Souls? Because I think you only have run Souls games, as far as I am concerned.
Yeah, I've practiced a little bit of Bloodborne and Sekiro. I never actually had a run in them though,
Well,
and obviously Elden Ring.
which game do you think is the that needs the more raw skill? Like talking about meta percent, like just the run that most
Mhm.
people do.
The most I think it would either be that is very difficult to answer just because like these games are hard for different reasons. And the more you play them, the more you might realize that. Because like initially people might think Sekiro, because I mean Sekiro's just known for being fairly difficult because of the deflecting, but there's a whole bunch of strats to help out with that. Some people might think DS3, but like after running the game so much, I feel like I mean DS3, like a lot of people would just say like, oh, that's either you get Cinder down or you don't. And then even like Dark Souls 1, it's like, well, it's kind of just ONS or nothing. um, I guess if I had to make a decision, it would probably be Dark Souls 3, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think the same. Like I have run all of them, except Demon Souls, of course. And I feel that I always thought that, Dark Souls 3 is the most difficult one in terms of raw skill because you cannot really cheese a boss, you know? You have at least almost all of them. You need to just fight straight them, you know? You just need to fight them, learn the boss.
Yeah, I guess. Uh, I don't know. I feel like with DS3, it's very like you are going about the boss in a different way a lot of the time, like you're not going to fight abyss watchers as you would like a casual person, right?
True.
It's a whole lot of backstabs and stuff like that, and then like dancer is just sticking, you know, to her back right hip. There's like DSA, you can skip his phase two. You can roll twin princes at the fog gate. There's so many things that that like it's just kind of it like it's the kind of thing where you learn once and then you don't have to really
Think
learn
about
it
it
anymore.
anymore.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I also agree with that. But also
Hmm.
the thing is that, well, Cinder.
Yeah,
when we,
Cinder.
Cinder is truly something for sure in this game. And to this day, I feel that Cinder is probably the hardest boss in Hitless in general.
Yeah, I would say so. Some people might say Ishin,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's one of those two, I'd say.
I was thinking that Ishin was the hardest, but
Hmm.
before I fought Ishin, I was like, no, Cinder is the hardest. Without running Dark Souls 3 or Sekiro. Then I started to run Sekiro. Okay, Ishin is hard. But then Ishin is hard. But then I came to Dark Souls 3 and then okay, Ishin is way easier because you can loop Ishin, you know, it's the same loop. But
Mhm.
on Cinder, you have to learn four different phases. Like, okay, you don't learn the curved sword phase, but still you need to learn how to dodge it, you know? But then you
Mhm.
need to learn how to fight a sword. You need how to learn how to fight a spear. You need to learn how to fight magic. That's four phases on phase one. And then you have phase two that is totally different from the other four phases, you know? It's really
Yeah.
complicated for sure.
Yeah, and like not only that, you have to know how they kind of interact with each other because like you have to kill or you have to be able to dodge Cinder when he has soul mass,
Oh
but
yeah,
you
true,
know,
true.
but it's curved sword. Soul mass, but it's spear, or soul mass when it's sword phase, and that can be a lot, right?
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's truly a boss. But I still think that Cinder is such an amazing boss. I just cannot hate Cinder, you know? I just feel that it's such well made in general that I cannot hate it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. He's my favorite boss. Either him or Manus is my favorite boss in the series. So he's very much uh he's a boss where it really tests if you actually know him. I think every other boss in Dark Souls 3, or I guess even kind of in the Souls series in general, like you can kind of get away with just not knowing much about them
Yeah.
and still like no hit them. So
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I remember that even on casual playthrough back then in the day, I did some bosses without losing health, you know? So
mhm.
but I feel that just doing Cinder without dying, it was impossible back then. But
Yeah,
you learn
he's
so much
typically
about
thought to
it.
be he's typically thought to be like one of the harder bosses on SL1. It's really funny because whenever you know I would do know it runs in DS3, people would ask like what's the hardest boss? It's going to be Cinder,
Cinder.
and then people would be like, "Oh wow, I'm surprised." Like I I didn't think that Cinder would be so hard. And it's like okay, a lot of people don't recognize that like you're trying not to get hit, you're not trying not to die, right? Like
Exactly.
whenever people do SL1, they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, this is why Cinder's considered hard, right?"
This
You don't
makes
have a lot
sense.
of
This
health.
guy one shot you.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's such a enjoyable boss for sure. Such an enjoyable boss.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, talking about another subject, I would like to ask you, like the
Hmm.
concept of hitless. Like some
Hmm.
people like to do this type of challenge, like not talking only about hitless, just talking also about speedrun, like different type of controller. Like for example, they are like a self-imposed challenge, like to feel, oh, I can complete something that I impose myself to it. Other people likes to do it because like just to brag, like oh, I'm better than anyone else because I got a run. Or and
Hmm.
other people has a total different reason to do this, like one case that is kind of known in the Spanish community is the streamer Alex El Capo. I don't know if you know him. Uh,
I don't know if I do.
but this guy, he was known for doing Sekiro. Like he's the reason why there's so many Spanish Sekiro runners in the community, right?
Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And when he got the run, something clicked for him. Like he say, okay, I can finish Sekiro without getting a single hit. I can do
Hmm.
whatever I want. And so it was so life changing for him because he saw everything that was bad. Like, okay, I'm overweight. I need to start losing weight. I need to start doing a lot of things. It was life changing for him.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
that's the, like, exactly what's the concept of Hitless for you, or just challenge running in general?
Like what have I learned from it,
Oh,
or why do I do it,
yeah.
or
Why do you do them?
uh well, it's definitely um I don't know. I feel like the idea of not getting hit is very simple, and a lot of people connect with that. Um, and with it being so simple and easy to understand, the concept of it, and people already understanding that these games are fairly difficult, then it kind of goes hand in hand with like the fun of it, in my opinion. And I think for me, it definitely helps to like be able to do a run and learn a lot about it, learn a lot about the game, right? And learn how the game, or how to play the game to fit whatever run you're currently trying to do.
Hmm.
Um, so I think just I don't know. I kind of view it a bit like any other challenge run, but like it's way more of a perfected thing, which is nice because if you do any kind of challenge run, like I don't know, like rune level 1 or something, it could be difficult for a lot of people, but like you don't have to reset,
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
the reset part of it makes it uh all the more, like, I guess, like all the more sweet for either you or the people watching you, or the community, right? That's about it. I think that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, it makes it. It's just really nice. The different point of view that people have with Hitless, to be honest, it's really nice.
Yeah, and
It's really interesting.
yeah, and I think even when it comes to even like talking to other people about it, or like brainstorming with some people about what you should do, how you should do it, that's always a good community building thing as well. Like just kind of talking with other streamers or other runners about like what should you actually be doing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun.
it's really fun. At the end, it's just a really good concept that the people has built, and a really nice way to do them for sure.
Hmm.
Now, something that I forgot to ask you, that it was hand to hand with your first run. How
Yeah.
do you became to know Hitler? Like, how did you find it?
Back in 2015, I was a freshman in college, and uh, that's when I only really watched Twitch up until that point. Like I only really watched Kingdom Hearts speedrunners, because I
Ooh.
that's how I got into watching Twitch, was watching Kingdom Hearts speedrunners, because I saw one speedrun on YouTube and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I really like Kingdom Hearts, and well, like what is this speedrunning? They're going so fast. Like it kind of blew my mind. But then I eventually started watching uh Dark Souls people, and way back in the day, like 2013 to 2014, around that time, there were a couple Dark Souls streamers. They would do permadeath runs, but they would do kind of the run that I'm doing right now. They do NG to NG plus 7, permadeath runs, so deathless runs, right? And
Okay.
every NG they'd have somebody in their chat pick a weapon, right? And so those two people, one's name was Litovsky or Lito, and the other name was Miltrovid or just Milt. And then eventually, I was watching or I was perusing the Dark Souls tab, and I saw this funny looking British guy by the name of Happy Hob, and and it said I don't remember exactly my first stream watching him, but I remember seeing like Hitless. I'm like, that seems interesting, and he was going for the first run. So I if you go into Hobbs chat, if I'm in there and click on my name, it says I've been following since 2016, but I was watching him since 2015.
Oh
I
God.
just I just hadn't followed him like until like the new year or something. But yeah, and so Hob was pretty influential from the first Dark Souls no hit run ever. I always thought it was really fun to watch him because I thought he was really funny, um, and it was very interesting because it was a different community at the time. Well, there was no hitless community, but it was different like vibe at the time where it was weird how some people looked at hitless and how some people would talk about him because like there were people saying that like, oh, he's stupid, he's not going to get it, it's impossible, why is he going for it, stuff like that. And like I remember I was there the night he got it,
Ooh.
and I I I distinctly remember like him getting a distance PB. I remember the title and the number of stream it was number 300. The title was we're getting a PB today, or we're PBing today. And then I remember like he didn't do like full runs when I started watching him. He just, whenever he got hit, he would reset, right?
Yeah.
And there was a whole lot of like mystery to watching him because like in your head, like imagine not knowing any of the strats of Hitless, and in your head you're like, okay, how
What
do
is
you
he going
fight
to do?
Nito? Yeah, yeah, how do you fight Nito? Like
I'm actually
how do
curious, like
you know?
how people came with the Ring of Fog and the Slithering one, like back then. Like, how did you people find that?
Yeah, so I believe the Ring of Fog cheese was, I think it was known, but
Ooh.
a lot of people, whoever would do it back then, not no hit runners, but like when Hob was going for the first one, whoever like would perform it back then, they'd just use a bow and arrow and just like shoot Nito from far away,
Oh
right?
God.
And but Hob didn't want to do that. He wanted to actually like go in their melee, and so he I remember he had the crescent axe. He killed the first two skeletons, and then like Nito's free. But I was like, wow, like it was a sight to behold because not many people had ever had to practice or to come up with strats like that. So it was really fun. But he was my introduction to Hitless, and uh, I actually hadn't really known of any other no hit runners besides him for a very long time. Besides Squilla, it was those two. And he definitely inspired me for my first run. Uh, the 90% version that we're the 90% version of the run that we're watching right now. Him and also Lobos Jr. Because
Ooh.
if you go on Lobos's channel, I remember watching a YouTube video of his where he just plays through the game with the straight sword hilt. And I'm like, well, that's really fun. That looks really cool. I'm like, I wonder if I could do that, but no hit. And so then
And that's how all it
here
started.
we are. Yeah.
And all the
Yeah.
rest is history.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's really incredible, like how people even like the first generation of Hitless. I'm talking like the people that start with Hub, Skilla, Swed, all these people. Everyone is thanks to Hub. Like we like to joke a lot about Hub, but Hub is the grandfather of all this that we have. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's such crazy how far we have been. To be honest, even me. I also blame my friend Oka, is one of my moderators, that he was the reason that I'm so in deep in this rabbit hole. Like he told me, "Oh, this guy, he finished all the games back to back without getting a single hit." It was no, that's crazy. And then the rest
Mhm.
is history. We are in this rabbit hole that is horrible, but we love it, you know.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy how one guy. It makes you think like how far would we have gone until the next person thought about going through here without
Yeah,
taking a hit. It's
yeah,
really interesting.
it's crazy. Now talking also about that, it was Hop and Squilla that also talking about Squilla. It's crazy how influential these two guys has been. To be honest, it's so crazy. But what pushed you to keep doing these runs? Like there is people that just get one run and that's it. Okay, that's it. I'm out of this hell. But what gives you the push to keep going for runs?
I really wanted to just like do everything that seemed interesting because with Dark Souls 1, I did a lot of runs on this game. And like even now I'm like, oh, I could do so many more and it'd be really cool. But there was kind of a natural progression to things. I'm like, okay, I would Tracer Hilt 90%, then Tracer Hilt all bosses. And then I remember I even tried I went for or I got a SL1 no upgrades, all bosses no hit right after
Ooh.
that one. I think that one took me, I don't know, a few tries, um, and then we started like really brainstorming other things like, oh, like SL1 weapon level 0 in Dark Souls 1, which is different from no upgrades, uh, which means you can't use things like the blacksmith giant hammer, right? And at one point I was like, oh, maybe I could go for all achievements, and that runs really boring. Don't do that in DS1.
Okay,
So
let's talk
yeah,
a little about it. Why is all achievements so
yeah.
boring on Dark Souls 1?
Well, one, you have a lot of damage with things. Two, like you have to farm. You have to farm, and
Yo.
farming's like not really that good and
Oh
not that
god.
fun. There's a part where you have to farm the souvenir of reprisals, I think they're called in DS1 from the crow ladies in the painted world,
Oh.
and yeah, doing that I'm like 90% sure it's somewhat RNG, just because of like they don't jump in like because they in a specific spot you have to go to and then they spawn in, but they don't spawn in like the same spot every single time. They don't do the same thing every single time, so it's like okay, yeah, I mean, whatever. And then you have to. There wasn't a like climactic ending to the run either. Like the last boss, because I routed it with somebody else, and the last boss that we had on our route was Taurus Demon. Um, because it just worked out to where like we the last achievement that we could get was getting getting all the miracles, I believe, or it was either all the miracles or getting, uh, yeah, it was all the miracles. That you had to trade in Gwyn's soul for a lightning spear or sunlight spear or whatever it was. Yeah, it was not very climactic, but yeah, I'll probably never go back to that one ever again.
At least you got it, at least.
Oh no, I ended up not doing it
Oh,
because yeah,
by
it
how
was
boring it was.
yeah because I just I had enough of it. I didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, okay, makes sense to me. I respected it. I respected it. It really nice that at least on Elden Ring and Bloodborne, the all achievements is not that boring. You know, I think that Bloodborne has been the only Souls I got platinum, and I didn't got it on Elden Ring because I forgot. I still have to do two endings: the
Mm,
normal one and the Frenzy Flame one. And also there is
mm,
one achievement that is getting all the weapons, like the legendary weapons, and I forgot
yeah,
one on the castle before Morgoth, and that one
yeah,
despawn after you kill Maliket.
yeah.
And
I think that one got a lot of people. Yeah,
yeah, I was like, I will get it when I play Elden Ring, and I haven't played Elden Ring since then. And I
that's
need
funny.
to, I need to because I want to do a randomizer run. To be honest.
Yeah, Elden Ring opens itself up for like a lot of like I like to call it third party fun, right? Because like the randomizers, it's probably the best randomizer game in
Yeah,
the
agree.
series. Best game to do bingo in, the best everything like that. Like it gets very complicated, and there's so many things that you can pick up and go to. There's a lot of strats involved. It's very much like it. It's kind of uh like a it's kind of like a sandbox game in that aspect where like you can just
Do
do a
whatever you
lot of
want.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Also talking about that, I remember that there was a lot of debate back then because you say
Mm.
that Elden Ring it was a 7 out of 10.
Oh, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Mm.
For me, I'm really biased to Elden Ring, to be honest,
Mm.
because Elden Ring is the first Souls game I have experienced with so much people at the same time. It is the first Souls I experienced on release day. The first day we are with so many people playing at the same time. So like me trying, Elden Ring is the best game. No, I have to admit I'm biased to it. It's the same with Hades. Like I cannot talk really good. Like oh, can I put Hades on top one of a game? No, I can't. I'm super biased to
Mm.
Hades. I can't
Mm.
because it was my first Hitless run. I met my girlfriend thanks to Hades. I met as such much people thanks to Hades. I cannot
Mm.
like it. Just I really love the game. It's my favorite game, but I cannot put it as the top one game because I'm really biased to it. But what's the reason do you think that Elden Ring is at 6 out of 10? I'm curious.
It's just so uh what made the other Souls games, I would say, like kind of great were like it was kind of the environment and also like the bosses that you would fight. It and in every game, like there's kind of I guess how would you say it? Like an intuitive nature to fighting certain things,
Yes.
and not really with Elden Ring. Like with Elden Ring, when I first had my first playthrough, I kept on coming across bosses where I'm like, this boss is ridiculous. I don't like it. I don't like the lengths that you kind of have to go to beat it. Like it seemed like at least with like casual people,
Yeah, we can talk about
they
the Watch Dogs, okay? It's normal. We can talk about the Watch Dogs because that's a
well
trash
yeah.
boss.
I mean, like Dual Watchdogs, there's Valiant and Gargoyles,
Ugh.
there's Godskin Duo, Gideon Offnir. Like it
Hey,
just
hey,
kind of
hey,
goes
wait, wait,
on
wait.
and on.
I'm not going to allow disrespect to my homie Gideon Ofnir here, okay? This is that
Uh,
I'm not going to allow disrespect to my homie here. He just suffered of one case that they didn't know how to design Gideon because he had a really good idea that the fight gets harder, the longer if you get more great runes. That's amazing, but they implemented it really bad, and I hate
yeah,
that.
yeah. They made him an NPC boss, which he's doomed from the start there,
Yeah,
right? So
sad. He was
it,
doomed from the
yeah.
start. But hey,
So
he has an amazing voice actor, okay? So it's forgiven.
yeah, I guess. But yeah, like I think with because like I kind of split up in the two categories where it's like there's the bosses of the game and there's like everything else, including like the exploration of it. And I think the exploration of Elden Ring is like amazing.
Yeah,
A lot of people would agree with that. And I think when it comes to the bosses, I think they're pretty lackluster compared to the other games, in my opinion.
yeah,
Um,
I agree with that. I
yeah.
find it really bad that mostly. I mean, we're talking about 165 bosses, but
Hmm.
of those, how many are really unique? Now there's like 30 unique bosses. I think 40, something around that. I don't remember, but I feel
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah, but I
the
feel like the
exact
bosses
number.
that are unique. Yes, but I feel like, for example, I like more the bosses of Dark Souls 3, for example. I feel that Dark Souls 3 has the most unique bosses of all the game in general from software.
Yeah, they're definitely all pretty unique. I mean, unique doesn't always mean great, I guess, just because I mean, I for it's really funny when people say like, oh, Dark Souls 3 has the best bosses, and then I just think of, okay, so there's tree balls, there's Grave Tender. I'm like,
We
yeah,
don't
well, for
we don't talk about that. Okay,
yeah,
we don't talk
for
about Half-Life. Okay, we don't talk about that
yeah,
one.
for every cinder or for every gale that people remember, they seem to forget
Tribal exists.
other ones, right? Yeah, like even Aldrich, like what? Anyways, yeah. So like there's definitely there's balance to a lot of the bosses in each game, but like with Elden Ring, I didn't really feel that. Uh, I I however, I guess the more I've played Elden Ring, um, the more I guess I figured out how to like make it fun. You know what I mean? And I guess the more everyone's kind of found out how to make it fun too, with the the introduction of bingo to Elden Ring as well, right? So
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, makes sense. I agree with you, to be honest. I agree. I think that, like you say, I just feel that people sometimes forget that a game that is a 6 or a 7, it doesn't mean that it's a bad game, you know?
Yes, it means I like the game.
Yeah, but that does. I just feel that mostly, I feel that I like this because I come from a country that a passing grade is 10 out of 20, for example. Like
Oh, okay.
if you get a 10, you pass. Everything else
Hmm.
is just extra grade, you know? So I feel that if you tell me, hey, a game is a 7 out of 10, hey, that's a good game.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so.
If you tell me a game is a 5 out of 10, okay, that's the bare minimum of a good game, you know? Like if you tell me then, oh, Elden Ring is a 3 out of 10, hold up, you're
Hmm.
saying the game is trash, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, but
Yeah, I agree.
I just think that everything, like, that's why sometimes people get really obsessed with the grades on not on the games, you know, like, oh, if this game is not a 10 out of 10, I don't like it. No, a game can be a 7 out of 10 and be good, and be good. That's it. And people really
Yeah,
forget about that.
yeah. It was very interesting seeing people's opinions or reactions to me saying it was a 6 out of 10, because people are used to just saying eight, nines, and tens for things, and for some reason, I don't know. It was very strange. I would explain like, hey, 6 out of 10 is still a positive score, and people would try to convince me that I know I actually hated the game. I'm like, wait, why? Wait, aren't you mad that I hate the game? Why do you want me to hate the game? People on the internet are really weird, right? So like, it's a special kind of breed of people, at least on Twitter. So
Yeah, I feel that it's just that those debates are kind of dumb because sometimes, oh, it's not a 9 out of 10, it's bad. No, it's a good game, but it's not excellent because there is no
yeah.
excellent game, to be honest, except Red Dead Redemption 2, but that's another topic. But yeah, I feel that Elden Ring, it's an amazing game. But like I said, I understand it has a lot of flaws. And I hope the DLC really fix a lot of those flaws, to be honest. And I strongly hope that, because I hear that there was going to be like a skill system like in Sekiro. I heard something about that. I strongly hope they don't fuck it up, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, no DLC thus far has been perfect.
No,
So
it's true.
we'll see what's up.
That's true. Now, talking about something beside of your runs, but still on Hitler, let's talk about a bit about the Omid League. So, well, you come
Oh yeah, yeah.
from a match. Sadly, you didn't win, but let's not focus on that. Let's focus on Omid in general. It's basically
Mhm.
the big hub league, and you participated on season 1, right? You won it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I won season one, then I participated in season two, and now season three is going on.
So,
Hmm.
how was it season 1? Like the first big event or league that has the community had. How was it? It was your, let's call it your backyard because it was Dark Souls 1. You knew a lot of Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, I think the first Zero Hit League kind of took place when like there weren't many people who specialized in Dark Souls 1 who I guess were also, invited to play. So I kind of I think I just had an advantage generally overall with some people, or over some people in the first season of Zero Hit League, and it was actually really funny because like I remember specifically like a lot of people, whenever it came to like the random seeds that we would get, a lot of people like they really wanted to get gates that had just like enemies and not bosses. I'm over here like, dude, I want the bosses, dude. Like no one really knew how to fight Manus. No one really knew how to fight, Sanctuary Guardian, right?
You
But
really
like
knew, so
I
you wanted them.
yeah, I was like, yeah, give me the heckin' bosses, dude. But yeah, that was really funny. But yeah, it it is an interesting experience with Zero Hit League. It's definitely it's one of the only like I guess like community tournaments that kind of happen
Yeah, so far it has been
involving Dark Souls.
the only one so far.
Yeah, I guess the only major one because like I guess there'd been like tournaments like kind of here and there when it comes to like, oh, just whoever gets the least
The least amount
hits
of
in
hits.
in yeah in like one run, then like they win or something. But like Zero Hit League is the only one that have like a different structure and like different rules, and over the course of I don't know like a couple months.
Yeah.
um and I guess there's bingo brawlers too, but that's outside of Hitless.
Yeah, it's kind of outside of like
Yeah.
it has like advantage that people don't know about Hitless because it helps a lot, but it's not the
Hmm.
same, because
Yeah.
it's just way different. Now, how was your experience with season one and season two?
uh my experience, well, so it was relatively new. It was very new in season one, so like I remember just the chaos of everyone not knowing the rules, new rules being brought up in the middle of the season, which like was kind of to be expected, right? I'm pretty sure like Glance wasn't always like the seed guy, right? There was someone who was like was before him, but the job was like just so stressful that he
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 just
didn't want to do it anymore.
about.
So Glance replaced him. Yeah, it was there was a lot going on. So it was kind of funny to watch it all come together. And then I guess in season two as well, like there were different rules added because DS3 was definitely different from DS1, and then like DS3 was the first time that we had banned enemies as well. And and now we have to ban more enemies for Elden Ring. Like there's a whole lot of uh optimization, I guess that kind of occurs whenever it comes to the Zero Hit League and the rules and everything.
Yeah, he was truly something. But now I feel that the biggest add-on that has in the league so far, I think that everyone
Hmm.
agree has been when Gino entered. So we were talk. I feel that it has been the topic. See, Gino is the. I think that everyone is one of the best or the best. You know,
Hmm.
we were talking about that. How is having Gino like going against Gino?
I mean, it's just like any other opponent, in my opinion. Because like if you do amazing, right, and then your opponent messes up, then I mean, then you win, right? But
Yeah,
I mean, Gino's just he knows a lot about the game. He practices a whole lot. He practices very like uh complicated or like niche things as well, right? So it's difficult to just wait for him to mess up, right? You just have to do what you can do, right? But
yeah,
I don't know. It's just like you treat him like any other opponent, and if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose, and that's kind of just how I see it, right? That's
yeah,
probably how he sees it too, right?
yeah. It is what it is at the end.
Yeah. Hmm.
But now it's a topic that we have been talking, but I feel that having Gino on the competition, like you cannot have a league and not inviting the best one, right? It's kind of dumb.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
now it's kind of weird, like having the best runner, but like, where's the competition? Because he's the best, he's going to win, right? So, what would be your idea? Like, if you have any idea, like, to regulate this, like, having the possibility of Gino losing, but without punishing Gino, for example.
I mean, like Gino has the possibility of losing. He didn't come away from season two of like being undefeated or anything. I think he lost once or twice. And I don't know. I think I wouldn't really change anything just because I feel like a high tide raises all ships, right? Because when it comes to, let's say, I'll use bingo brawl as an example too, right? Like when it comes to, um, it like so, season one bingo brawlers was not very optimized like at all. Season two, people started like really testing things and practicing certain things, and that was the first time that people started to really take it incredibly seriously. And so like when you see somebody else taking it seriously, someone else like rising to the that level of something, then like I think it encourages everyone else to get to that level too, right?
Yeah.
It might take more time, might take I don't know. People might not get to the same level as other people, but I mean, I feel like that's completely fine to have someone who might go undefeated in a league. So I wouldn't really change anything to be honest.
Yeah, it's a really good argument. Like, it's just that I feel that the feeling of competition also force everyone to become better. At least
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
hope that for season 4, I mean, I'm not saying that people in the league are bad, of course, but I hope everyone level up their skill and their hardest matches for, like, you say, like, oh, who can actually win. It will be really nice for sure, like, to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully.
Hopefully, because, well, we already, I think that with the points there is no way that Gino get out of first place, so at this point.
Yeah.
but
Something like that.
but still, it has been such a amazing to watch the league, to be honest. It has been it's such, like, seeing the different type of matches, the upsets. It just, it has been a ride for sure. It has been a big ride. At
Yeah.
least,
Yeah. It definitely has before the DLC.
the thing I hope is that Hub works on a minor league for the relegation system and for the getting new people. I hope he works on that. At least, I when the mod gets released from Zero Hit League, at least I'm
Mhm.
planning to hold like an unofficial one, with the people of the community from Team Hitless and all that, and having like a way to classify it. We're still thinking about, like, what would be a good way to classify into the league.
Okay.
But we would
Yeah.
like
Interesting.
to organize one between the people that, like, sadly, the thing with Zero Hit League is that I know it's just a big business. Like, you are not going to invite a small streamer, of course, because you want the viewership and all of that. I understand that, but also it's kind of
Mhm.
sad saying that people that are amazing runners, for example, I can name people, like, just from my head right now. For example, we have Shilky, we have Petri, we have Recycle, uh, people like that are amazing on the game, but sadly they are not that known on the world of Twitch. Is what I mean. So they cannot showcase themselves on a competition. Is what I mean.
Yeah. And that's kind of I guess that's kind of how it is whenever it comes to a lot of things on the internet. Just because, for example, like there'll be a whole bunch of things that like I won't be invited to because I might not be big enough, but someone like Aggie would or someone like Gino would, right?
Yeah,
And so I feel like that's always going to be a huge uh roadblock for some people to catch the attention of whoever organizes things.
yeah, exactly. I feel that that's a good thing, because I'm thankful that Hob and I don't know the name of the guy behind the mod, but I'm glad is going to be available for everyone. I think
Yeah.
they say that it's not going to be available right away because they still need to fix a lot of things. But
Yeah.
when they get released, I would like to host a league with the relegations and the classification system. And I feel that that's a thing that the Zero Hit League needs at least because I mean it's kind of weird having a relegation system, but then not having a
Mhm.
way to classify it. You know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what Hobbs
I mean, it's hard.
ideas
Nobody know
are.
what he's thinking, to be honest.
Yeah, sure. The chaotic good is what Hobbs all about.
Truly. Well, now let's talk a bit about the community. I mean, you know, your community and well,
Mhm.
the Team Hitless community.
Mhm.
Now, what would you say about the people comes to watch you that comes to see your content of your Hitless runs?
Oh, like just like what kind of person is typically watching, or
Yeah, yeah. Just what you think is watching, or what you think they are looking to watch when they look at your stream.
well, I guess like people come to my stream. I guess I definitely drag people in with, I guess, the challenges that I might do. That might be why they click on my stream. But I guess people also stay around and hang around my stream just because like I don't know. I like the playing the smooth jazz on my stream has always been a thing ever since like uh, ever since like the run that we're watching right now. I've ever since I started doing this run, yet like yeah, I've been just playing like smooth jazz on my stream. People like the sound of my voice. I have a good microphone, stuff like that. So I mean, people come. People probably stay because they are. I don't know, like they can relax in my stream or just generally the things that I talk about or like how discussion based I am whenever it comes to talking about things with chat. That's probably like what I provide people whenever they want to watch me.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Like I feel that as long as you have a really comfy place that everyone and also obviously a content that everyone can like, I feel that people are going to come at some point. You know,
Yeah,
like I understand why some people don't like watching Hub because it's chaotic. You know, it's really
yeah, very
chaotic.
much.
But I also understand why people like watching Hub because he's chaotic. Is the same.
Mhm,
Now, talk about a bit about Team Hitler, for example. I like asking this hot take, everyone that has come. If
mhm,
you could change a rule from, it can be either from in general or from
mhm.
a certain game, which rule would you change?
Um, so oh god, that's so funny because there there was a huge debacle about Hidden Body a couple years ago.
Ooh,
That was really funny, but that's been resolved in my opinion. But there's also a oh gosh, so okay, so the what I would like is more of more refining of the current rules or more refining of like the current definitions of things because um like I said earlier, I would bring in like kind of edge cases to where um the rules were not complete enough to have an exact ruling on the situation. So in this happened probably 3 years ago in Dark Souls 2, um, as a lot of you might know, is you get like you get super armor or hyper armor at the end of your rolls, so you can still get hit through them, but you don't get a stagger, right?
okay. Yeah,
Um,
the known lingering hitboxes.
yeah. So whenever it comes to Dark Souls 2, a lot of people know this this issue when it comes to me. But one time I was going through the Black Gulch and then I rolled, but then one of the poison statues it spat out poison, and the poison made connection with my body, but it didn't damage me, it didn't stagger me, it didn't kill me, it didn't poison me, stuff like that. And I remember bringing this case into the Team Hitless Discord. I'm like, is this considered a hit? and then people would say like, oh, they don't think it's a hit, or they think it is a hit, but then I would ask them, okay, under what rules do we have now would it be considered a hit? Because again, no damage took place, no stagger, it wasn't a death, poison didn't proc, stuff like that, and then no one really had any rule they couldn't really explain why it would be a hit given the current rules. So instead of refining the rules, there was a vote of whether or not that specific situation should be a hit. And to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure it remained, or it was voted on to be a hit, and similar things would also be a hit. So I think that like I don't really care either way, but I think that there should be a rule that would be like, okay, if a hitbox come in contact with your hitbox, would that be a hit, right? Or if a staggering hitbox or a whatever, like can you hyper armor through things that don't damage you, right? Can you do stuff like that? Because I think that would be something that would help out with figuring out
Yeah.
whether or not you should care about whether or not it's a hit, right? So that would be what I would say
Yeah, makes sense.
specifically.
I think that for that case, I think that they, at least when I was reading the rules,
Mm.
I think that those things, those statues are considered traps, and I think that it says that if there is a trap that you action is considered a hit. As far as I know, the rule says that.
So again, what the definition of a hit would be anything like an enemy or a trap that deals that damages you, staggers you, kills you, poisons you, whatever stuff like that, right? That's the definition of a hit. But like if you trigger the trap and it connects to your body, none of those things happened, right? So it's whether like there's no doubt that it's a trap, but did it hit you, right? That is what I'm talking about, and
Oh,
that's where it should be. The rules should be refined a bit more, right? To leave no, uh, like to leave no interpretation up for it, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree on it. I agreed on it. Like because there has been some case of this. There have been some case
Mm.
that the rules, like because of clarification, you don't know if something is a hit, so then you need to wait, is this a hit or not? Because it's happened, so you need to go and ask someone, sometimes stopping your run and
Yeah.
go ask someone because there's like, you don't know if it's a hit. So wait, wait. So if makes sense if I continue without knowing it's a hit, you know,
Hmm.
it's like also the also known discussion of Roberto Stagger in Sekiro. That
Okay, yeah, maybe I should have chose that one instead.
no, no, no. This is the question. Do you think that count as a hit?
Of course it is.
Okay,
There's no doubt in my mind. There are what 3 or 4 different ways to avoid it as well. Like it's not even the original reason as to why it was not considered a hit was because people thought it was scripted that you couldn't avoid it. But like yeah, there are like 3 or 4 different ways of avoiding it. It's
yeah,
really
makes
funny.
sense. Like I understand why it should be a hit. Okay, I
Hmm.
understand since the Team Hitler rule because it staggers you, it breaks your posture. Okay, it breaks your posture.
Yeah. Hmm.
But also, is it known if it's actually an a flaw in the game or something? We
Uh.
I don't know. Like I'm totally without the knowledge if it's actually a flaw of the game that attack hit you twice and that's the
Mhm.
reason why it stagger you. I don't know, but I know that if you step back and then parry, it doesn't stagger you because of the double
Yeah.
hitbox or something like that.
Yeah, if you step back and parry, you can just dodge it. You can get another prayer bead. There's a lot of ways that you could just get around it, you know. And even if it even if it was, I guess, like a flaw in the game or something, then like I guess I don't really think that would uh matter. I guess just because like I don't know, Osiris's insta charge is definitely a flaw in the game, but like if you get hit by it, then it runs dead, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's true. Well, I have a question here from Miko, from Mikola. He said, in this case, the problem that you can use hyper armor to avoid a hit,
Mhm.
But then why can use hyper armor to avoid getting hit by enemies? Or verify should mark hyper armoring enemies attack as well as a hit.
Or Barbar should more hyper armor enemies. Well, I mean, if you hyper armor an enemy and it damages you, then I guess that might not be what he's talking about. But if you hyper armor an enemy and it damages you, that would be a hit. But if you hyper armor an enemy and it doesn't damage you or stagger you, then I think like yeah, just like if you rolled a hit, then you didn't get hit, right? So I think that should be fine. You know, like using perseverance. I think it's called perseverance in DS3 on like a Yorm stomp, right? I think that should be completely allowed, just because uh, or within the given rule set, or because if for some reason we can say like, oh, you can't hyper armor through something, then I think that would be very difficult sometimes to like determine if you actually hyper armored through something or if it didn't actually hit you. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. It's just that it's such precise situation, but
Hmm.
it's those situation that could happen, right? It's situation that could happen,
Yeah.
and there is going to be again all the discussion again,
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that hyper armor works so weird in this game. Yeah, it will be not reliable to decide if this will be a rule. Yeah, makes sense. It's just also the case of lingering hitboxes. Also, it's like the hitbox of a smog in Dark Souls 1, Like
Yeah.
what is hitting you is something that it doesn't exist in a way because it's just a book in a game.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it should count as a hit because it's a flaw of a game. In that case, because also while I think that 100% of the time it's going to kill you because you're going to enter with Artisar.
Yeah, and like I guess it's also with something like the Ghost Hitbox in Dark Souls 1 ONS, like it is consistent. You can know when it's happening because you can see when, you know, Ornstein or Smo does an attack in the the cutscene, but or before the cutscene. But I think okay, honestly, the only real thing that I can think of where it's like, I don't know, like 100% RNG, where like I don't know, maybe that should be a hit, maybe it shouldn't be. Like I don't think anyone's gotten hit by a random lightning in Gale's arena yet. I'm waiting for that to
Actually,
happen.
actually, I'm curious about that. The people in the chat, can someone confirm if someone has get a run dead to a random lighting from Gale? I'm actually really curious. Also, Recycle says there was a recent discussion about falling star beast grab attack. It grabs you and deals no damage without armor, but with enough poise, it tries to grab you and fails. The discussion didn't have a conclusion.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, that's also very typical of team hitless discussions. uh, because oftentimes there would be like I don't know a discussion about it, and then like people just say their piece, and then nothing really gets decided. And then like we don't know what what the rule is anymore because like I guess no one really wants to make a rule about it, or or there's too much disagreement for a rule. I don't know. Some things get very complicated very quickly. Oh, Brett lessened all bosses run to random lightning. Well,
Oh god. That's painful.
that's insane.
That's truly painful. But once again, like, I guess that is just unlucky, I guess. It's just unlucky, one of those cases. But yeah, it's that when those discussion happens and it doesn't it doesn't reach a conclusion, to be honest, because it's one of those things. Okay, what do we do now? Okay, like, the case is there, but now we don't have a conclusion, so it's like it's just in the air now. But that's actually interesting because that what would that count? Would that count as a hit? it's really weird because you cannot really control the like your poise in the game. Wait, no, you can.
Mm,
You can with
you
the
can,
amount
yeah.
of armor.
Hmm.
So I guess at least it's a way to avoid the grab if you think about it, because
Hmm.
it's your knowledge about the game. It tried to grab you, but it fails because you know the amount of poise you need to have for that fight. So I feel that in that specific case, it should not count as a hit. At least it should not count as a hit. That
Yeah, which would be kind of uh the same ballpark as saying like, okay, can you use endure to like avoid a horrorlu roar or something, right? Because then you get infinite poise, and then the roar won't really uh do anything to you, right? So I don't know. It's interesting, right?
yeah, yeah. It's until it procs, you're good. Yeah, it's just I think that way. Yeah, I feel at least that should not, those type of I don't know if there's another case in other game where that happens. I don't think so, but I feel it should not count as a hit. I feel that probably the best way to catalog that rule, like if there is a way to dodge that attack, it doesn't count as a hit. You know, because you're dodging the attack. If he fails, right? It's like, for example,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like this is I don't remember. Like I have a good example. I got
Hmm.
the moon presence from
Oh
uh
yeah.
that moon presence. Like, for example, you
Hmm.
you get killed by moon presence if you didn't eat the three umbilical cord, right? But then
Yeah.
if you eat the three umbilical cord, she doesn't kill you. It doesn't kill you, right?
Hmm.
So it's just the same here. Like if we get it to in-game logic, if you have certain item to avoid an enemy hitting you or failing an attack, it should not hit you. Like also the pendant for Manus, for example. You use the pendant, it drives away the black magic. I don't know how it's called.
Hmm. Dark
Uh,
magic. Yeah.
so it's a way like you can dodge it without it, yes, but you have an item that makes you avoid the attack, not automatically you use it.
Hmm.
And well, the same for here. Like if you know a way for the enemy to fail the attack, then it should work at least.
Yeah. I think that's a. I think I agree with that kind of thought process. Maybe not everyone does though, right? So.
Yeah, like, I feel that's the
But
reason why discussion exists at the end for those
mhm.
type of things, because but
Yeah.
I feel that at the end it makes sense. So all Bloodborne any percent runs are invalid. Just don't need. I mean, there is people technically speaking that skip that cutscene so they don't get hit by Gale by German. So it needs to be in the rule that you need to skip the cutscene. I'm sorry, you're getting hit by the cinematic.
That's such an old thing. Like people would always wonder, like, if I get kicked by patches, is that a hit? It's like, of course not.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about it. That's true. That's also that also happened on Dark Souls 1. I think that it
Yeah.
doesn't happen in Dark Souls 2, I think, no. Oh, it happened in Bloodborne though. That happened in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those discussion, like I guess, but that's what I say, that putting it in game logic, because I don't
Hmm.
right now I can't think of a enemy that doesn't do an attack when you have certain item, or just that it just doesn't attack you, for example. Like I don't even can think of outside of Souls game. I can think about it. It just really, but I feel that it should be allowed in this case because it's a way to avoid the attack. Like just make the enemy
Hmm.
fail the attack.
Yeah.
And
Yep. I completely agree.
I mean, at the end, is one this discussion exists. Like they exist for a reason, for this type of really specific situation that nobody is going to think about. But Someday they're going to happen, and we're going to have this discussion again, and we're going to be talking about
Yeah.
Roberto Stagger.
Yes, unfortunately.
The illusion of choosing. You can make it legal, but it's just going to be 3 more years of Roberto discussion.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we can just make like a. Is there a way to skip Roberto? We just or not just skip Roberto. Do a speedrun skip. I
Oh,
think
just do a air swim past
yeah,
Roberto.
yeah, easy. That's the solution. As easy as that.
Mhm.
All right, now to finally this, we have been going for a while.
Mhm.
Now to finish, I don't know if there's people of your community that have zero knowledge about Hitless, but maybe they are curious about Hitless. So if someone want to start doing a run in any game, what would you recommend to them? Like, what would be the best way to start in this amazing journey of Hitless?
Whichever game you like the most would be what I would say. Because then you would actually like what you're doing a bit more. Um, and I think it would help with the mentality as well if you're playing your favorite one out of all the Soulsborne games, and then you take a devastating hit. If people are looking for the easiest one, start with Elden Ring by a mile. Start with Elden Ring if you're looking for the easiest one. Oh wait, you might be muted.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I don't know why sometimes my microphone mute itself. It's so weird. But yeah, we're going to throw all the new runners to Elden Ring, but we are not going to show them the way to script bosses. They need to learn the bosses.
uh,
They need to read Recycle Guide to Morgoth.
the Recycle Morgott guide. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I have that emote as yeah, I
I
have it.
I have the emote
There
too.
you go. There it is. Anyway, have you seen Recycle as the Morgoth guide that the open that nobody going to read, but they should because it's amazing. Oh my god, that's such a it's such a meme, but that's the level of complexity some bosses in Elden Ring has.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I'd say so. When you get down into the minutia of things, they can get pretty complicated.
yeah. All right, that's pretty much everything. CBD, once again, thank you so much for coming. I hope you had a great time.
Yeah, thanks
Uh,
for talking with me.
what else can I tell you? I hope the best in the Omid League, in the new game to new game plus 100. I hope. I don't know. You got up to 80, I think. That you say that they say
86 was my PB.
86.
NG plus 86.
What
That's
what
was
what killed you there? I'm curious actually.
it was Malekith.
Oof.
I got true comboed
Oof.
and I died. It was unfortunate, but we'll get him on the next one. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, tomorrow is the run. I believe you're just going to rush to 50 new game plus in a day.
Yep, yep, yep.
Now, wait, I have actually a final question, which
Mhm.
I'm actually wondering, but I was too scared to ask. Okay,
Okay.
where the Luldab come from?
Oh God, yeah. So that's something that I would just like DM to my friend like back in I don't know like 2018 or something because I just thought it was something stupid to say. And then when I was first streaming back in 2018, I when I first got affiliate, I didn't know what my emote should be. I'm like, oh, I'll just make it lol dab in the you died text from Dark Souls, and it's been on my channel ever since.
Oh
It's
god.
just a meme.
I'm not going to lie, I have been scared to ask that since I meet your channel. I've been scared to ask because I feel it was such an in-deep joke that everyone should know.
No, I don't think a lot of people know. I get asked it sometimes, but yeah, not all the time, not every day.
All right. Once again, thank you so much for coming, CBT. I hope
Yeah, no
you
problem.
had a great time. I hope it wasn't it wasn't that bad. At least I hope that.
Yeah, no, it was great.
All right. Thank you so much, and I hope the best for you in the next run, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.
And same to you. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
All right. Professional streamer. Change the scene super fast so nobody say that. Wait. Well, guys, that concludes the episode for today. Let me do a shout out for Mr. CBD. Amazing runner. If you're not following CBD, I don't know what are you waiting for, because you should go and follow him. He's amazing. Go follow him. Amazing runner. Amazing everything, to be honest. It was really nice. I was scared to ask about the Lulda because I truly thought it was something that everyone should have known to that point. I hope everyone had a great time. I really enjoyed the discussion about the what should be a hit, what should not be a hit. To be honest, it was really nice. I'm not going to lie. I feel that this type of discussion should come from time to time in general in the community of Team Hitless, because there are really weird situation that could happen. To be honest, really weird situation that could happen. So it's really nice to at least know about them and know how to deal with them, because you never know, you never know. All right, well, that said, guys, I think that that's everything for me for today. I hope everyone had an amazing day. It was really nice. I hope you guys have also a great time. We're going to go and rate someone to go and say hi. Thank you so much, Lesson, for the rate. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much, everyone from CBD community that arrived to arrive today, that watched it. Thank you so much for everyone that was here. Yeah, Mikola, Resi. For the people that couldn't catch it up, this is going to be uploaded to YouTube, so don't worry about that. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. I appreciate a lot. Let's go raid Gloom. Let's go raid Gloom. I hope you have a wonderful day, and see you all tomorrow with more the favorite game of everyone, Bloodborne. And let's see if we can get the run tomorrow. I've been enjoying a lot Bloodborne, I'm not going to lie. I've been enjoying a lot Bloodborne in general. Really amazing game. What else can I say, guys? If you don't have a follow on the channel, appreciate if you could drop a follow. We're really close to 1,000 followers. If you're not in the Discord, remember to join the Discord. We have a raid message. And that's it for me. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day, a good evening, and see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.